What's up, guys? Craig Mack here, Liberty Bell Beekeepers. A couple of weeks ago, one of my subscribers had mentioned not really knowing much about Liberty Bell Beekeepers, so I'm kind of doing another introduction video. So welcome to Liberty Bell Beekeepers. So for those of you that don't know, I'm located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I am in Philadelphia proper, in the Tacony section of Philadelphia. Philadelphia is known as a city of neighborhoods, and this one's no different. I'm in a semi-industrial area. It's a pretty even mix of industry and of residential. We got residents all across the train tracks here, and most of the area behind me is industrial, although it's a very small residential neighborhood as well. I usually keep somewhere between 80 and 100 hives. Most of my hives are located on the rooftop here. Essentially, I'm a nuke farm. I keep almost all my bees in 5-frame setups. Generally speaking, 5-frame deeps and 5-frame mediums for honey supers. Typical setup for going into winter is this right here: 10 deep frames and a 5-frame medium box for honey. Do 4 per pallet, and I have something like, I don't know, it's like 18 or 20 pallets up here. This is where most of my queen rearing and most of my removal work. I do removals. Most of the bees come back here first before they go out anywhere else. So all this is survivor stock. They're untreated. Mite control is something I believe is dependent upon the bees. I am hoping that through this collaboration of untreated, unmanaged bees, we will have a better bee, one that's mite resistant and handles the load of honey harvest, as well as good temperament, all the things we're looking for when it comes to keeping bees. Down this end I have a few custom hives. These are all minimally managed hives. They're thick-walled or insulated, double deep frames, and these colonies basically go untouched most of the year, almost all the year. This road barrel hive's been active for, I think, 4 years now, maybe 5. It's only ever been opened twice. Essentially, it has a 12-inch sonotube on the inside that's lined with wood. It does have frames. I have a video of the construction of this if you'd ever like to go and look at it. But it has been occupied ever since. It could be opened, but the last time I tried to open it, it was not great, so I just closed it back up, and it's been what it is. This is a 7-frame deep, double deep, 2.5-inch or 3-inch thick wood, reclaimed wood from here in Philadelphia. This is what I call my Philadelphia hive. It's all reclaimed wood from houses and things. Again, this is another one that's been occupied pretty much steadily. I think it died out the first year, and this has been going ever since, the same time as the road barrel. Although I installed bees into this one, the road barrel attracted a swarm from here in my yard. And then I have my four nukes set up per pallet up here on the roof. I typically use these 5 frames. I also do these 2-frame mini nukes. I'll use them for queen rearing. I'll use them to keep and get queen cells. I'll do splits in them. After my main round of splits in the spring, I'll split a bunch into those 2 frames and build them up into this 5 and 10 frame setup over the summer. It's just for management purposes, keeping them smaller, works better for me here because I do have a decent amount of resources available to me naturally. I do supplementally feed when I need to, but this just seems to work best for me here. Now back in my back area here, I have where I started keeping bees down here on this deck. That's a 12 by 20 deck, and I usually again run nukes there as well, usually somewhere between 15 and 20. I'll do a lot of my splits down there because it's just easy to get up and down to keep an eye on the bees. I have my container garden here, rainwater collection system. I got a hydroponic setup. All of that stuff's going to be planted up later today or tomorrow or at some point in the next few days. Around here, Mother's Day is our kind of planting time. I started some stuff inside with some seed snails and some peat pellets, but most of that planting gets done right at or around Mother's Day, which was just this past weekend. So there we are, Liberty Bell Beekeepers. I've been in business since 2019. That's when I started keeping bees. So I've only been keeping bees about 6 years. What I did was immersed myself between 2018 and 2019 in research. I watched tons of videos, read books, spent about 6 or 8 months learning about the bees before I even touched one, and then started out with a package from David at Barnyard Bees. His nuke yard was the inspiration for a lot of how I started with the 2-frame mini nukes and with the 5-frame nukes, and also with the collaboration of Bruce at Swarmstead. He's got a great channel, and off I went. So I started with the package, learned about catching swarms, was told about doing removals. I am a contractor of 25 years, so the removal business kind of blended all my worlds. In my first year, I went from no bees to over 30 hives. Next year, I doubled to 60 hives, and since then, I've maxed out at about 100. That's about all I can really manage by myself. I'm doing all this myself. Removal work, managing all these bees, being a father, doing all of this myself. So I had to put a cap on it, and 100 is my cap. We do honey harvest, of course, that's inevitable, but the main purpose of my beekeeping was to raise and sell bees, which I do. Now I'm starting to expand my honey harvest now that my kid's in college and he's busy with his life. I have a bit more time to spend expanding my honey harvest business. So that's what we're doing here now. We're breeding more bees and getting more hives and more equipment and more knowledge, of course, because a honey harvest is a completely different way of keeping bees than raising nukes for sale, and the removal work is completely different from all that. So it's afforded me the luxury of being able to do this full time and for a living, and I just couldn't be happier at this point. So that's it. Here we are, Liberty Bell Beekeepers. So I hope you enjoyed that little walk around. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for your comments and your likes and shares. It's always much appreciated and a blessing. So thanks so much. Enjoy your weekend.